What are they talking about? Where's this Elizabethan accent? How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be checking out the U.S. island that speaks Elizabethan English by the channel BBC Global. Links down below for this. Now, it says this is in it's Ocracoke Island, North Carolina, right? It says it's rich in tales of pirates, Native American fishing, and English sailors, but one of its greatest legacies is its very unique dialect. Due to the island being isolated for centuries, their Hoy-Toiter brogue sounds more like it's from southwest England than the United States. So Elizabethan English is what they spoke during like when Shakespeare was around, during like Queen Elizabeth the First's reign. And according to Google AI overview thing over here, it's around 1558 to 1603. Of course, they're gonna sound the same outside of that. I mean, I'm sure somebody in 1557, a year before this, would have sounded the same. They're not going to just instantly change their voice or dialect a year later. Who knows? But anyways, 1558, 1603, roughly. And we're going to check this out, guys. Thanks for watching with me. Like I said, there's a link down below. Check it out. BBC Global, original channel.
We toured on the side of the street last night, the water fire, night moonshine, no fish. We both matter up woods.
It's the only dialect in the United States. When you play it for people from outside of the United States, England, do not identify it as an American dialect.
Okay, that makes sense.
The Ocracoke dialect and several of the island dialects of the Atlantic seaboard really began in the late 17th century. There was a settlement on the island in the first decade of the 18th century. So in about
See, and that's already outside of that time frame because late 17th century, well, that would be late 1600s. And according to this, it was 1558 to 1603. So that's outside of Queen Elizabeth I's reign. But just saying.
about 17, 9 or 10. The people presumably came from the southwest of England there to Virginia and settled on islands. And people from those islands traveled by boat to these islands in North Carolina and settled them. Once they settled them, of course, they had no way to access the mainland other than by boat, which is still the case. And so it was isolated for centuries.
Okay. But it's like, there's islands everywhere. Why did that one become so isolated as far as like the language and the dialect being preserved more so than other islands? I'm wondering.
It's home, and it's special to me because it's home.
We found this place, and it was beautiful.
Ocracoke's quite simply a magical place.
So they maintained a fairly isolated and independent existence.
Those three people sounded pretty like United States accent-ish, right? Like whatever you would call it. Sounded like normal to what I would hear. The last people they interviewed.
And in that context, the original dialect was perpetuated and strengthened.
Hoyt-Hoyter.
There are certainly retentions of English. You know, there are words that sort of we can find in the plays of Shakespeare, like a word like mimic.
Mama, oh, that means when somebody gets you playing and they get hold of you and they're mad at you about something in the game and they, try to shake you up a little bit. They want to.
This to me, this doesn't sound Elizabethan English. Like that doesn't sound like an English accent. She sounds to me like she has a Southern accent. I would 100% think she's from that area, maybe even North Carolina. Like that. There's a lot of different dialects of Southern accents here, though.
A little bit. They want to box with you.
Mimics like to irritate somebody or pick on somebody, you know.
there are also things that they've simply created. In the United States, we play a game hide and seek. Well, on Ocracoke, the term is called mehonky because when they're hiding, what they do is they imitate the sound of a goose. Mehonky, mehonky.
Just hide and find it and run into the bushes and hide somewhere else. Hollering, me honking, they know you're where you got that name. No, I don't know. Really, just know the name before, like hide and seek, except you choose tape.
When we first got there,
Okay.
all right, the term for outsider was dingbatter.
So the ones you see riding around the road in the middle of the road on a bicycle. There's the two of them. You'll see this couple. There were a whole string of cars behind them. They're right in the middle of the road, right down the middle of the road. They're dingbat.
Where did they get ding?
That still sounds like a southern accent to me. That does not sound English. If somebody said and gave me that voice and said, "Hey, pick out what country you think these people are from," I would say South United States, Southeastern United States. I don't, so far I haven't heard anything. The first guy, I mean, that first guy there, you know, but
Better. As it turns out, up until the early 1970s, the term for outsider was foreigner or stranger. Okay. Now, in 1972, they got television for the first time. There was a famous American sitcom called All in the Family with Archie Bunker, which was on at the time. One of the characteristics of Archie Bunker, who was sort of a parody of a racist, a chauvinist, and so forth, was he called his wife a dingbat because she didn't seem to have much common sense. Okay, they saw that and said, "Oh, that's just like the outsiders here."
A real true blood dingbatter, or somebody would see the two car tracks going across the beach, and would go across there in a car and think that he could go where a four-wheel drive. So that is a real dyed-in-the-wool dingbatter.
So in that sense,
still sounds southern United States. What are they talking about? Where's this Elizabethan accent here? I don't hear any Elizabethan English. That first guy, though, that was a little different. But,
you know, it keeps changing, but it changes in ways that are sort of similar to its circumstances, you know, what it has and what it doesn't have and so forth. But they also have some pronunciation. The one that everybody talks about, which is why it's referred to as a hoi-toi.
Hoi-toi on the side of the street. Last night the water fire, night moonshine. No fish. What's supposed to matter, Uncle Woods?
yeah, see, that one there, it kind of, to me, that almost has like a Cajun act, like a Mississippi, Louisiana, down in the bayous, like the guy hunts alligators and shit, kind of an accent, but different. He's the only one that, like, the closest one to this one. I would have a hard time, like, I might not guess American, North American, United States, whatever. Everybody always corrects me. I say American. Everybody calls us American. I'm sorry. It is what it is, okay? You know what I mean? I know that there's more than one, you know, like, I know we're not the whole of North America, and there's South America too. There's a lot of Americans outside of people that live in the United States. We are all aware. But you know what? Some of you Dutch people call the Netherlands Holland, knowing that it's called the Netherlands and not Holland. So you know what? We're even.
Because that vowel of tide is back, so it sounds more like toy. All right, so that is what they're known for.
Now tell me what you said.
High tide on the sound side.
Sound side, yeah.
Last night the water fired.
Water fired?
Yeah, that's phosphorus in the water. You ever go to the ocean, you see the old people used to call it water fire, when the water fire fired.
Last night water fired, okay.
Yeah, and the night the moonshine.
And the
night the moonshine, so they had, one night they had a water fire against them, the next night they had a moonshine to get them. Usually couldn't catch too much on bright nights, when the nights are bright, you don't catch much fish, so.
Okay. Geez, 7 foot of water. In 2019, well, what about the hurricane that happened this last last fall. Wow.
I guess a good feeling, you know, to know that I was born and raised right here and one of the original ones before people started moving in as tourists and stuff, you know. You might send an original Oakhawker.
The only real
Yeah, he definitely sounded Southern there. I would have definitely, I could tell that he's from, not this guy, but the guy in the hat that was just talking. Yeah, I don't hear an Elizabethan English. This is not, I don't know what they're talking about. BBC Global? You got it wrong.
status is whether you're a native. That is, they call them Oakhawker. The only real
You might send an original Oakhawker.
The only real status is whether you're a native. That is, they call them Oakhawkers. In which case, you can follow your lineage back into the 1700s. Sort of, if you've just been there, 2-3 generations, you're not a real Oakhawker. Right now, there are about 350 islanders out of a population of around 900. Also, there's more marriages between outsiders and Oakhawkers. And so that has an effect. And more recently, and this is really interesting, now 40% of the kids in the school are Hispanic. And that's related to the fact that the tourist industry is dependent on outside help.
Right. And I think it's worse for the girls than it is for the boys.
Their culture's gone. As soon as communication hit them in the 70s or whatever, and they could start seeing outside TV and stuff like that, it's just gone. It's crazy how that happens.
Because the girls
dependent on outside help.
Yeah, and I think it's worse for the girls than it is for the boys, because the girls are kind of sort of like, they can't fish, they can't crab, you know, and take up a trade like that. So they like eventually end up in one of the restaurants or a motel, or they're on more of a day.
That's a Southern accent. Every single damn person they showed me, except for that one dude for that little split second when he was talking, it was a little weird, but every single person here sounds Southern. Like my grandma's side of the family, like my grandma moved up here from like Virginia and West Virginia area. And her twin brothers in North Carolina, lives in North Carolina. They all sound like this. Don't tell me this is Elizabethan. I may be a dumb American, but come on now. BBC, are you trying to prank me here?
Day-to-day basis with the tourists and stuff, so I think they're losing it more than a lot of the boys are.
I got a little kid, so he's 4 weeks old. Time he gets grown, his accent will be what they call dingbatish. So I would like for him to kind of keep the same accent, heritage like we've had for years and years, but there's no way now. All this is gone.
We talking about his accent, dude. Your accent sounds dingbatish. Your accent sounds like you're from North Carolina. You don't sound Elizabethan English. I'm so confused here. I'm literally, highly, thoroughly, genuinely confused, guys, because BBC's usually pretty spot on with most of their stuff. BBC Global, I don't know about it. I don't know.
What do you think?
The only way it could be preserved if you fellas put it on tape.
Yeah, there's a lot of new people, you know, coming in and everything, and it's changed a lot in the last few years. In the last 20 years, most of it's been lost.
By our count, you know, people within one or two more generations, the dialect will be gone for good.
It's already gone. What are you talking about? It's not there. It's not there. It literally sounds 100% the same as somebody else from the South. They all did. The one dude sounded like he wasn't even from North Carolina. He sounded like he was from Mississippi or Louisiana. Like he sounded like they got him right out of the bayou and he just got done wrestling alligators and shit. You know what I mean? Like, anyways, wow. Let me know what you guys think about it. And if you live around the area, if you're from the United States, I mean, I know most of my viewers are European, with most of them being Dutch and everything, but there is a small little amount of American viewers, right? United States people. Let me know what you think. Am I wrong here? Because I feel like you would agree. I feel like you would also know that, like, yes, these are Southern accents. They don't sound Elizabethan. But anyways, thanks for watching with me, guys. Have a super fun, awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.